In 1916, a quiet French city became the center of a storm where the ground shook for months and the sky never truly cleared, and the soldiers who entered the battlefield believed they were marching into a fight, but many later felt they had stepped into a machine that devoured time, hope, and men without mercy. Verdun was not meant to be a quick clash or a daring maneuver. It became a test of endurance, a brutal contest to see which army would break first. And for the ordinary soldiers on both sides, it felt like the world had narrowed to mud, noise, and survival. The German plan aimed to pressure the French army at a place they could not politically or emotionally afford to lose, a historic fortress region that symbolized national pride. And so the attack began with one of the most intense artillery bombardments the world had ever seen. Thousands of shells screaming through the air, turning forests into splinters and villages into dust. French soldiers described the opening days as a rolling earthquake where the ground constantly erupted and the horizon flashed with fire. And men learned quickly that trenches were both protection and trap, because a direct hit could bury entire squads alive. Supply lines struggled through shattered roads, and stretcher bearers moved like ghosts through smoke, carrying the wounded past columns of reinforcements marching the other way. Some too young to shave, some veterans already hollow-eyed. The weather added cruelty, rain turning soil into thick mud that swallowed boots and sometimes bodies, the cold seeping into bones during long nights where sleep came in broken minutes between bombardments. Rotations were constant because no unit could endure the front line for long. Yet even away from the hottest sectors, the thunder of guns never fully stopped, a constant reminder that the battle was still grinding on. Soldiers formed strange routines to stay sane, sharing letters from home, small jokes, bits of chocolate, or silent companionship, while knowing that any moment a shell might erase their trench. The landscape itself transformed into something alien, trees reduced to blackened spikes, the ground pockmarked by craters filled with water and debris, the air heavy with smoke and the metallic scent of explosives. Attacks and counterattacks gained yards and lost them again. Forts changed hands, and names of small hills and positions became etched into memory because so many fell trying to hold or take them. Communication often failed, runners risking their lives across open ground to deliver messages, signal lines cut by shell fire, orders sometimes arriving too late to matter. Medical stations overflowed, doctors and nurses working beyond exhaustion, treating shrapnel wounds, shock, and burns, while trains carried thousands away from the front, some staring blankly, others calling for friends who would never answer. Propaganda at home spoke of heroism and determination, and indeed there was courage, but at the front it often looked like simple persistence, men doing their duty because the person next to them depended on it. Months passed, and still the battle did not end, each side pouring more men and material into the struggle, turning Verdun into a symbol of national will. The famous road feeding the French front became a lifeline, vehicles moving day and night to keep the defense alive, a logistical miracle under constant threat. Yet beyond strategies and maps, Verdun was lived minute by individuals who measured time by barrages and brief silences, who learned to read the sound of incoming shells, who wrote last letters during lulls, and who discovered how fragile and resilient a human mind could be. By the time the battle finally slowed, hundreds of thousands were dead, wounded, or missing, and the terrain looked like another planet, scarred so deeply that decades later some areas remained dangerous. Verdun did not deliver a clear, dramatic breakthrough or a swift victory parade. Instead, it became known as a battle of attrition, a grim demonstration that modern industrial war could consume armies without dramatic movement of borders.
For the UK and US audiences looking back today, Verdun stands as a warning carved into history, showing how nationalism, technology, and determination can collide into prolonged suffering when neither side steps back. Survivors carried memories for life, the noise, the loss, the strange brotherhood formed under fire. And many later said that Verdun changed how they saw the world, stripping away illusions about glory and replacing them with a quiet respect for survival and peace. The city of Verdun still stands, rebuilt and calm, but beneath its soil lie reminders of a year when the battle would not end, when courage meant holding on one more hour, and when history recorded not just movements of armies, but the endurance of ordinary people caught in an extraordinary storm.